and now it's my pleasure to bring to the show Melanie Campbell, President and CEO of the National Coalition for Black Civic Participation and National Convener of the Black Women's Roundtable. Welcome to WIN TV, Melanie.
Hi, sister. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing fine.
I see we got the memo.
Yeah, I do. You know, when I think about you, I think about a phrase that my dad used to say all the time when people say, Calvin, how are you doing? He said, well, my head is bloodied, but unbowed. And, you know, Melanie, I'm sure yours is too, because you've been fighting so much and it seems like the battle never ends. It never ends. So I want to talk a little bit. Of course, I want to talk about the event next week, the summit, and where, you know, what that will all encompass. But, you know, you've got a couple things. I say you do, but we have a couple things on our plate right now, right? With the information hearing of our new Supreme Court nominee, as well as voting rights. And you may have some other things. So can you just touch on those two issues and talk about how you all are involved in this movement or in this activity?
Okay. And we weave that into the summit.
Right.
We have a big summits really about policy and organizing.
Yeah.
But as we all know, and I was listening to your previous segments, we have the first Black woman nominee for U.S. Supreme Court, Ketanji Brown Jackson. That's been a long time coming, 233 years, and we all, hearing that. But and the reality that I've been involved in advocating for it through the Black Women's Roundtable and partnering with many organizations, including National Council of Negro Women and others, over a decade, in really promoting it. And before I came along, someone else was promoting it. Now we're here, and so this President Biden and the Biden-Harris administration committed when they were running for president and vice president. President Biden said President Biden, then candidate, said he would nominate a Black woman to the U.S. Supreme Court, and when it came up, he did it. And so now Judge Jackson, Ketanji Brown Jackson, I love saying her name.
Yes.
And she's a native Washingtonian, and she grew up in Florida, so she's our homegirl, right?
Yeah, I definitely claim her.
Being from Florida, Miami. So with such an impeccable background, and there were so many Black women who were named, who were bandied about in the media. More so than they were never confirmed, but we know there were a lot of them. Cheryl and Eiffel being another, and so many others. And so, so he chose one of those very experienced Black women who most were litigators. She's a public defender, which is very different. That's very unique in her background. And also I think it was vice chair or the chair of the sentencing commission, right? And she clerked for Justice Breyer, who she, once she's confirmed, because we're claiming it, she would be taking his seat. And so it's this historic moment, not just for history's sake, or her story, I like to say, sake, but really having someone with that kind of lived experience as a woman, as a Black woman in this nation, to be able to be there and be a part of the deliberations, whether it's a winning case for Black issues, or down the road a winning case for Black America. I think the idea I've learned over the decades and the understanding that the judicial system is important to have those who dissent, right, and then be able to be in those rooms and be at that table and be at the bench is a very, very exciting moment for not just Black America, but the nation.
And there's still, and I know you all are very much involved in this. I mean, these Senate hearings now, the confirmation hearings, are not going to be right, and they're not going to be easy. I mean, they're sounding like they understand her credentials and the fact that she definitely Republicans, I should say, respect who she is, but they're making it very clear in the form of being politically responsible that they're going to give her a tough time.
They are. And we always have a tough time, Denise. Every time when we ascend to positions of power, unfortunately, we have a harder time. When you have Black women, other women of color, have a harder time getting confirmed from the U.S. Senate. In this case, she has to be confirmed by the U.S. Senate. And so, as you stated, that the hearings start March 21st. So my organization and NCW, we create something called Black Women and Allies to focus on key issues, which we started the summer with voting rights, and we pushed economic justice policies, reproductive justice policies, and we're organizing with that coalition that we built over since last summer to focus on supporting Judge Jackson's nomination. So part of what we're doing as a part of the Black Women's Roundtable Summit, we have a Hill Day. So we're going to be on Capitol Hill on Thursday, March the 10th. In the morning, we're starting off with a speak out right in front of the Supreme Court to have a show of coalition strength in supporting her nomination. But then our delegations from across the country, from the Black Women's Roundtable leaders, have delegations that are coming to the summit who are going to do Hill visits. It's limited because of COVID, but we're going to go to as many Senate offices as possible to push that for her to have a fair hearing that'll be coming up the following week, right? And that she has fairness in that process and ultimately be confirmed, along with providing them with our broader policy agenda, honing in on voting rights and other economic justice policies.
Well, it's a good time to really segue to the conference, because one of the things I was going to ask too, you addressed it when you said limited participation going into the Capitol, but the outdoor event, whether you're a member of one of the coalition or ally organizations or not, if you're someone that supports this nomination, can you just show up, out for the outdoor event?
Yes, it's 10 to 11:30. We'll be in front of there having a speak out and really pushing about the support for her, but also lifting up a couple of the issues, voting rights being really, really critical, that we need to keep pushing for that as a part of that. So people can show up between 10 and 11:30, right? Say free speech space. We won't be on the steps, but we'll be on the sidewalk. Really from 10 to 11, people can show up for that.
Definitely. And that's in front of the Supreme Court.
Register for the summit.
And that's in front of the Supreme Court. Exactly. Okay. All right. So yeah, let's talk about the summit, because it's always a dynamic event with dynamic speakers. And so I know you probably are just anxious to get there, to get going, because women are really ready to move forward. So talk about the summit this year. And this is the 11th annual summit. So what folks can expect?
And it's a hybrid event, right? So people can register still up through Monday, I believe, is when we're cutting it off, to show up in person. And we're going to be at the National Harbor at the Gaylord, is where the physical venue is. And we also have the opportunity for people to register, and they can register virtually and participate that way because of COVID. So we had a limited amount of people who could come. I want to lift up our honorary chair, because we're in Prince George's County. Prince George's exec, Angela Alsobrooks, is our honorary chair. We really focus in on really making sure that we can not just show up in community, but be open to having the community that we're in be involved. So we're really excited, and thank her and her team for all their help and support. But it's going to be a packed 4.5 days. We start off, we actually will be starting off Wednesday with a evening plenary, which is a town hall that's really about power of the sister vote, power of Black women, from the ballot box to the U.S. Supreme Court, and everything in between, which it includes being VP now, right? And lifting up Black women who are coming from across the country, as well as other national leaders, to really have, it's almost like a town hall rally on Wednesday evening, March the 9th. And then we spend the day on Capitol Hill. We also, let me back up, Denise, we're going to release our Black Women's Roundtable Essence poll that we normally release in the fall. We held off, and we're releasing that virtually on Wednesday, earlier in the day. But then Thursday is our Hill Day. As you mentioned, we'll be at the Supreme Court and also doing Hill visits. Uh, Thursday night, Mark Moriel from the National Urban League is coming, and we're going to be doing a fireside chat with him because we're about coalition, and he has this book out about the Gumbo Coalition, and
Mm,
he's really good. He's on my board, and we work a lot together, and so we have a few brothers on the program this year. Um,
good.
and then Friday, we call it All About Community Day. We'll be focusing on policy. And so we're delighted that we'll be having some folks from the Biden Harris administration and who will be participating. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, um, Marsha Fudge, will be there, as well as Cedric Richmond from the White House, a special assistant to the president and heads up the Office of Public Engagement, and many other members of the Biden Harris administration will be a part of the summit on Friday. And then on Saturday, it's all about you day. It's about health and wellness. It's about really pouring into sisters. Everybody's stressed out.
Yes,
We're
yes,
really building into the summit some wellness, and to be able to deal with that and support entrepreneur sisters, support folks having stuff. We call it healthy, wealthy, and wise sessions, enrichment sessions. We will have a, a, a Sistars Awards that evening. And then on Saturday night, we have a comedy hour with Michelle, Indie Mom of Comedy out of Baltimore and Brooklyn, right? And a bunch and several of her colleagues in the entertainment space, because laughing is healing.
yes, it is.
We're
Yes,
gonna
it is.
laugh Saturday night, and then Sunday we close out with our faith and global empowerment day. We will have
Wonderful.
UN ambassador Linda Thomas Greenfield will
I
be
was just going to ask you
here.
about her. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
she's
because people need to
coming.
know who she
Um,
is. Yeah,
Yes, and she's the UN ambassador. Hopefully, they're seeing her on TV. She's been the one talking when it comes to what's going on in Ukraine and the UN, and so she
exactly.
will be present in person to be our closing speaker. Our uh, one and only Reverend Zena Pierre will give
Mm.
the our faith hour of power that morning. And Denise, we need you there. So I'm gonna call you after this. We got a couple of to see if you have time. I know I'm late. I know and I'm putting you on the spot.
This
Okay,
is how, but this is how we do it, Melanie. I mean, this is how sisters do it. It's like, let me call right now.
girl, you know me to call you 3 months ago. I'm calling you today because I do need.
No
There's
problem,
so
no
much,
problem.
but people can go. Uh,
Yeah,
they can go, and it's not too late to register. We hope folks. It's very nominal. We don't, you know, we don't let money be the. It's difficult because we have to raise a lot more money, but to
right.
cover it through sponsorships. But it's not a lot of money. It's for $85. We do feed you for $85 over 4.5 days. So you know how far that go.
Oh
And
yeah,
uh,
yeah. Hotel cost that didn't go very
online
far.
$20. So
Yeah.
we don't want money to be the reason people can't participate.
Is there a different registration fee for like students?
Yeah,
Or
I
is it-
think it's
Okay,
$20.
okay. All right, that's good
So
because I mean, I
we're
would
not.
say each
It's
one
just
bring one.
yeah. Yes, and I will say if you're coming, if people are registering in person, they have to be fully vaccinated.
Okay,
They have to be fully vaccinated. That means if you are eligible for a booster shot and have not had it, you're not fully vaxxed. If you have had it, or if you don't, if you're not eligible yet, as far as time and your last shot, because we're trying to be very, 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 very conscious about it. I went through, and a lot of our folks have gone
yes,
through
you
COVID
did.
and still are.
Hmm.
So we're being very, and people will be provided daily uh, uh, rapid tests on site to be able to make sure that if you're physically there, we can be as safe as possible. So it's a lot more, but that's the in a nutshell the summit for 2022.
Well, it's like it sounds like a galvanizing event because, as we said before, there's so much work to be done. You can never rest because the struggle continues, and this sounds like a great conference to keep people, on the front lines, working for the interests and the rights of not only women but all people. I say if women benefit, everybody benefits.
That's right.
So I'm glad you're doing this. And lastly, Melanie, I mean, I'm saying what people should leave here with, but when this is all over, what do you hope that this conference will will impact going forward?
Our theme says it all. We want people to rebuild their hope, to have more hope. We want to focus on achieving justice by engaging these policymakers to push on the policies that impact Black America, more specifically Black women, girls, and families. We are focusing on pushing around economic justice and opportunity issues. So equity is in the theme because we believe how important that is, um, and equality. So we'll be talking about those kinds of issues. But it's also about organizing. So about we have sessions where we're going to have organizing sessions about building and maintaining our power, protecting voting rights, saving our democracy, those big kind of bucket issues. But all the way down to we have a girls track. We have girls 13 to 17 have their own track, and they will be presenting to us. We have the Southeast Tennis is on a local level. Southeast Cora Berry is bringing from Southeast Tennis and Learning Center. We're going to have a presentation that's a part of their Blacks and Wax. We get a sneak a peek.
All right.
Coming
Okay.
over. So we're doing things that, so we wanted to make sure that this was also, we have a walk that people can come. You don't have to register for that. You just show up. Well, take that back up. You do have to register. We were going to try to do that. We weren't able to pull that off this year. You have to be registered to participate in our power walk, focus on mental health and wellness. Reverend Tony Lee, my pastor at Community of Hope, all of them are helping to pull folks together from the community, from DC
Right.
and from Maryland and
Well, that's the
Virginia.
place. The National Harbor is a walking location. So if you're gonna have a
Yes.
power walk, when they get back,
Yeah.
they'll be really ready
Early
to go to work.
Saturday morning.
All right. All
Love,
right.
we
Sounds
call it
good.
Love You More Power Walk for mental health and wellness is what we're
And
promoting.
wonderful. Okay. Melanie, thank you. Thank you so much for being with us today. And I'll look out for that phone call. Let me know what you need.
And if you
And
don't mind, if people are interested, go to our website, ncbcp.org, nc,
okay.
ncbcp.org, and they can click on and register.
Great. Okay.
Until
And
Monday.
I think we have something in the Informer. We're also promoting it on our website. So yeah, we will make sure that we can make sure that people get there. So
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you. And I will
All
call
righty.
you.
Okay. I'm looking forward to it. All right. You Alon. Wonderful.
Where do you come to get all